First thing in this video is that the Nets game against the Clippers was their best defensive game with the big three. Yes. Why I said this as the first thing in this video is because we have been pointing our fingers at Brooklyn Nets for their defense, and it still wasn't great defense. It was good defense because the effort was there, the help defense was there, one-on-one defense was there, the effort to block their shots, the effort to steal the ball, the effort to not let them have easy shots. So this was a good effort. Still, they scored a lot of points, but yeah, that beginning was there. So that's why the first thing. Going into this game, Clippers versus Nets, the first thing is that Clippers didn't play good defense. Of course, they have the Nets scorers are so lethal, you can't really guard him, but also the Clippers didn't play up to the expectations that we have from them defensively. That's also, your defensive mindset will have, it has to change when you have such three great scorers on the opponent side. Your defensive strategies changed, and I think the first change that they saw in the defensive strategies and mindset and everything that scrambled in their defense was when they saw Brooklyn Nets attacking in the transition. Because most of the time in the NBA, we don't see players going out in the transition alone and then hitting those 3 pointers every time they go down, and just trying to score without even setting their offense up, without setting all their teammates up. So this was something new that Clippers saw. They don't see this so many times, but Brooklyn Nets do this almost every time possible because they all have that green light to just go out and score and isolate, whereas other systems in the NBA do not give that liberty to players. So they were going in the transition, they were not waiting for anything else and just straight out scoring. Kyrie, Durant, Harden, especially Kyrie Irving, scored 39 points. So that was something that changed their defensive mindset, and I think overall their defense wasn't as great as it always is. The next thing, the Nets forced them to change their offense too. Earlier they were using Kawhi Leonard at the post up, all good, setting up their offense and everything was good. Kawhi Leonard in the post position was a really good idea, closer to the basket, most efficient shot for Kawhi Leonard, most comfortable shot for him. He was going one-on-one against Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, anybody he can find, posting up. James Harden gave them trouble at the post position. You can't really post up against James Harden. But still, Kawhi generated a lot of shots against Kyrie and Durant, which was a great matchup. And I think that's a shout. I should give a shout out to Tyronn Lue, Coach Lue, because he has been using Kawhi Leonard at that position a lot of times, and I'm just happy to see someone playing post this seriously, other than Joel Embiid. I'm just happy. I'm really happy about that, and it gives them result. It gives them result because Kawhi Leonard is really comfortable at that position. Okay. And what was the next thing? And why did they change their offense? You see, when a team have such lethal scorers in Durant, Kyrie, and arguably three of the best players at that position, arguably, or top 3, top 5 in their position ever. I don't think we have ever seen this kind of talent assembled in a single team. So that really makes an impact on a team. And then that unlocked, I think Paul George loved this game a lot because the Brooklyn Nets had Paul George unlocked too. Because when they see that the offense is flowing and flowing and flowing, it's just coming and coming at you, and the defense isn't impacting them, then we have to change our strategies too. So the Clippers, instead of playing traditional ball, like you won't notice it too much, but they changed their playing style, and Paul George was going out there for isolations. Kawhi Leonard was trying to score at every possession, because that's the biggest answer you can give to a highly efficient scoring team when your defense doesn't work, when your defense is not working as it is. And those were my takeaways. Actually, those are pretty much my takeaways from this game, the Clippers and Nets. It was such a beautiful game. Actually, if I make a bigger video on this, you can find really small elements, about the individual game of players, and I can talk a lot about that. But overall, if I see, the Clippers didn't have the defense as great as it has always been, as they are known for, and Brooklyn's defense was better than expected. Still, they were not able to really slow down the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard or Paul George. They were not able to do that, and at the end, their offense won them the game. But also, some extra talk about Brooklyn Nets is that why are we so why are the thoughts about Brooklyn Nets so scrambled? Why can't we still believe them that, I mean, such a big talent assembled that you have never seen, as I said already. And then if this team goes out and wins a championship, it will really, prove so many people wrong. Because this team, Brooklyn Nets team, is not historically correct as a championship team. You look at previous teams, in the history of the game, you see most of the team, maximum number of teams. First of all, they definitely have a good offensive player, a player who is really different from other players in the team, who is a step ahead in that offensive game, one of the best in the game. And then they definitely have a really good offense. But on the defensive side also, they have above average defense for most of the championship teams. And now here comes this team, which I think it's still really early to judge them, and really it's too early to say what this team is, because this team hasn't even played 10 games together. But here comes this team from which we have championship aspirations, and this team also has championship aspirations from themselves. And then they don't have the required defense, but they have one of the best offense in the history of the game. So we know that at the end of the day, that difference in that score matters. That's what it matters. It's all about the buckets. But defense is necessary to get some stops, because whenever your offense isn't as efficient as possible, the defense helps you to maintain the lead that you have, maintain the gap that you have whenever your offense is not flowing. I mean, that's the most bad situation for Brooklyn Nets. If their offense isn't as efficient as it needs to be, they will collapse. They can lose by so many points because they don't have that defensive power. So that's why our minds are just boggling away. I don't think if that means, but our minds are. It's really difficult situation, because first time we have seen this kind of team with the championship aspirations, and if this team wins championship, so many things will be wrong. Another thing will be, the X factor here. The X factor for this team are these three players that I talked about. We have never seen this kind of talent assembled. That's why we have championship aspirations from them, even after being a really, really bad defensive team till now. And I think that's it. And we have a lot to see from the Nets. I might make more videos about the Nets, but that's it. And today's game was really good. A potential finals matchup. Really good matchup. Really great matchup.